start to hone in the drawing a bit further and define the features a bit more. So I'm using paint mixed with less medium now, mostly just pure oil paint. And I'll begin to just shift things around and add some more concrete lines in as necessary. So looking at the shape of the mouth and looking at distances, I can tell that the upper lip needs to be moved up slightly. So again, if you make a mistake, I mean, it's not really even a mistake at this stage. You know, as you discover something new, you can just shift it, you can erase it with your rag and just, you know, shift things around a little bit. So moving the upper lip up a bit and looking at the exact shapes, looking at where the point is on the width of the lips and looking at the way the back of the lip curves like this. The lower lip has a certain couple of angles to it here, and some of the shadow that I've put in might be a bit overstated, creating a bit of a weird shape. Now, when I do a vertical plumb line from the back corner of the mouth and align it vertically with the pupil, I can see that I'll actually need to pull this corner out a little bit further. Also, there's the form shadow comes down across the jaw and is actually on the form of the face. So there's a small little form shadow on the chin. And then I'll use pure paint to gently delineate the line of the jaw. Also, at this stage, I can round out some of the edges just a little bit. And as I go into my eyes, I'll really be looking for the angles, the specific angles that are created in the eyelid. So there's 3 very straight angles that I'm seeing. And this is discussed in the handout that I encourage you to download. The pupil is half covered at the top by the eyelid, and that helps create a more relaxed look to the eyes. And there's the under plane of the eyelid as well. So we might sometimes be tempted to leave out the lower eyelid, thinking maybe it'll like make it look like there's bags under the eyes or something. But in fact, that helps anchor the eye onto the face. Now I'm using the back of my brush here to scratch out the little light ridge of thickness to the lower rim of the eye. And as I look at the geometric shapes between the eye and the eyebrow, I can see that I just need to move the eyebrow down a little bit. The space between the eye and the eyebrow is just a little bit narrower. Continue to define the eyebrows with angled straight lines, not with a big generic curve. And look for a softer edge towards the front of the eyebrow and maybe a harder edge somewhere else, perhaps towards the back of the eyebrow. Again, I'm using the back of my brush to scratch out a little bit of a space between the lines in the eye, of the eyelid. And then looking at this other eye, again defining it with angled straight lines that really describe the angles. Getting the little shadow underneath on the lower eyelid. And moving that eyebrow down slightly to adjust the distance between the eyebrow and the eye. In the front of this eyebrow, it actually sort of turns into the shadow and sort of comes up right against the edge of the front of the eyelid. And continuing to look at the angles that create like the cheekbone, the angle of the eye socket. We can adjust the shape of the form shadow on the nose. It comes down a little bit lower than I had it. Form shadows are very important on noses. A lot of the time, since the nose is so soft and round, it's easy to not really perceive the form shadow that's occurring on this lower edge of the nose. But really look for it, find it, and put it in because it really improves the drawing of the nose. I was just checking to see the vertical alignment of that point where it comes to on the face, and I can see that vertically this point comes to about in the center of the nose here. So I just moved it over a little bit. Also, I want to define this curl on this side a little bit more. There's that nice curl there. And there's a cast shadow coming off of it onto the body. And as I work with that area, I feel that this shirt could just pull back a little bit on the shoulder. And looking for the angle changes in the line of this shirt will really help describe the form of the body. Careful with defining the jaw. There's a tendency to really overstate those details and put something in that's more than what you see. So since we can only vaguely see where the chin ends and where the shadow on the neck begins, we want to put in the same impression of that, the low amount of definition that there is in there. And I want to just adjust the shape of this shadow a little bit. It kind of comes out a bit at the chin area. Looking again at this, I actually have just noticed that that back eye is too high. So at this stage, it's really very easy to move things around. If you see something that's out of place, it's just a few lines at this stage, so just go ahead and wipe it out and, readjust it. You'll be very happy that you did, rather than painting a perfect eye and then discovering that it's really in the wrong place. Take the time to move things around at this stage. And so I blocked it in lightly at first using more walnut alkyd medium, And now I'm using more pure paint and just redefining some of those lines a bit more clearly. We can see a little bit of the ear poking out, which is cute. So to get that, I'll use a horizontal plumb line, and I find that it's horizontally in line with the eyebrow. And we can take a measurement of the height of the ear, compare it to the face, and it's just under one of the 1/3 measurements. So, and then to double check everything, we can take another horizontal plumb line from the bottom of the ear across and check, and it's coming in the right place on our painting, just above the bottom of the nose. And this ear is in shadow, so we want to make sure that it, continues to sit back into that shadow area, and that nothing in the shadows should be as light as anything in the lights. So it'll just sit back there. And I'm not going to over define it at this stage, or at any stage really, but just make a little impression of it so that I'll know where it is when I go to color. So I want to keep refining the shapes of some of the features, and looking at the eye, I just want to open up this eye a little bit more. We can see a bit more of the circle of the iris in the shape of this eye. And there's a nice curve to the upper eyelid in the back eye. Also, we can just subtly define the nostril of the nose. And continue to define some of the tones that make the features stand out. So I'm darkening behind the cheekbone, since there's a nice clear edge to the shape on this side of the face. Okay, so we're just about done here. I'm just going to step back and take a look at it and see, if anything stands out. And I think that some of the final details that I'm seeing are more in the hair, just defining the turning of the form in the hair, the top plane of the head being a little bit darker as it wraps back away from the light. Some of the nice curves in the locks of hair. So the main thing that I want is for you to have fun with this and, enjoy yourself, try out these techniques, apply them, see what they can do for you, and just have a lot of fun. And as you continue to practice, your practice is going to grow and improve, and and I can't wait to see what you do. To wash your brushes when you're done, just rinse them around in some Gamsol odorless mineral spirits, Wipe them with a rag to really get all the paint off, and then wash them with soap and water.
If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up and follow me to see the next part in this series.